I think because I'm Tamil myself, I think I have a pretty good indication of kind of regionally where people can come from. But there is no certain look, there is no specific thing that this is what a Dalit person is supposed to look like. But you can simply tell who a Dalit person is because the caste system has such a serious effect on people that follows you in your geographic region of where you live. It follows you in your occupation. It follows you through your last name. It follows you through where you sit in a classroom. It's basically segregation. It's basically like, yeah, it's segregation. And you don't have to wear a label because people already know your label. People knew your label from the time you came out of your mother's stomach because your mother wasn't untouchable and her mother wasn't untouchable. So it's just a continuous cycle. It's a continuous cycle.
And why the name untouchable?
They named them untouchable. There's a short history to that. One of the things that they say, the historical interpretations of why people say that, is because when the Aryans came through India 5,000 years ago, India was said to be inhabited by the Dravidian people. These are the ancestors of the Dalits. This is why we call Dalit people untouchable, the indigenous, because people say they were there before other people came in through India. So when they say when the Aryans invaded through India thousands of years ago, they came through and they were warring and doing all these things. And one of the things they started doing was raping the women and having sex with the Dravidian women, the Dalit women. And so one of the concerns with the Aryan people when they were passing through India and coming through and conquering was, oh my gosh, if you mix so much with the Aryan race or the Aryan people, how will we know, if you mix so much, with the Dravidian people, how will we know who is Aryan? How will we know who's Aryan and who's Dravidian? This idea of mixing. So they said the women became untouchable. So they say the Dravidian women were kind of like, don't touch them, don't get too involved with them, because you could potentially, obviously, have a baby and then have your blood be polluted. Because these are terms that they actually use that are written down to describe Dalit people as pollution and things like that. Oh, wow.
I want to talk about the practice of untouchability for a second and what that looks like. So when you talk about untouchability, you're talking about a group of people that were literally labeled untouchable, so you could not touch them. So there have been instances where kids have been drowning in water, Dalit kids have been drowning in water, and no one will jump in and save them because they're literally untouchable. So we can't jump in and save them because we'll be polluted. So women going from the village isn't going to get water, so they have to get water. They can't touch that water well because then that water will become polluted. So they have to wait all day until a dominant caste person fills up the clay pots that they carry on their head so that they can have water to feed their families. So there's a lot of different ways you guys can support us. The one thing is, so our organization is called Sister Sharing Stories, and what we attempt to do is get communities to document themselves and share their own stories. So one of the ways in which you guys can share, because I know a lot of people don't have money that they can just hand out. I know a lot of people are struggling themselves financially. One of the ways, and one of the things that we're doing is collecting equipment. Collecting digital cameras. I know like nowadays everyone's got like 2 or 3 cameras sitting at home, and there's just some, oh my god, the screen is cracked or it's scratched or something and you can't use it. Whatever, anything it is, whatever it is, just give it to us. Because we'll get it fixed. And then when we travel to these different communities and work and encourage them to document themselves, they'll have this equipment that we can leave with them. And that's one thing we definitely strive to do when we work with communities. There's no point of working with communities, educating them and giving them skills and not giving them the tools to keep working with those skills, to better themselves. You know what I mean? And it's also a way that they can generate revenue. You know what I mean? So you give one woman a camera and she can document her entire community and document all the events that happen. I just want to give a brief, I guess, sort of history to how that project came about. I went to the World Social Forum in Kenya the year of 2007, and there I met the most beautiful woman. Her name was Jyoti, and she was the co-founder of REDS, which is the Rural Education Development Society. And I was totally amazed by the work that she did and the movement that she ran. And I knew right then when I spoke to her, it was like a 5-minute conversation. that we were going to have a very intense sort of working relationship. And then because of Jillian, actually, I quit my job at the Toronto District School Board, and off I went, along with Natasha and Jillian, to help document and assist in the documentation of Dalits who are formerly known as the Untouchables of India. So that's sort of a brief little rundown of how the project came to be.
Great.
I just want to say I didn't tell Rocky to quit her job.
You sparked it. You sparked the quitting.
Well, if it came to this, then, you know, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. My name is Jillian Map. I've known Rocky for a while, so she's seen me grow. And I just want to say that I'm really happy to be a part of this experience because it's so beautiful. But in the beginning, it was intense. Like it's something when I came back from India I couldn't describe. There were no words for it because it was just something where you had to kind of be there. And I'm hoping that these images kind of give you a piece of that. That's why it's called Picking Up Pieces. But just take a look because this is just really hard for me. Sharing your work is always like a personal thing. But it's important for us to remember that these stories need to be told and they need to be shared. So we need to step back and forget all those nerves and have you guys enjoy these stories because they're not mine. I don't own them, right? So. Yeah.